Welcome to The Explainer. So, what if one of the world's most sacred books had a secret message, but not in its words, in its numbers? That's what we're digging into today. This really fascinating and super controversial theory about a divine mathematical code hidden in the Quran. All right, so let's really get into this question. It's a huge one, right? It sits at this amazing crossroads of faith, math, and some serious critical thinking. The whole idea is that the divine message might actually have a numerical fingerprint. So, our story starts where you'd expect, with the Quran, revealed way back in the 7th century. But it takes a sharp, modern turn, thanks to a discovery that just wasn't possible without computer tech. Okay, so fast forward to 1974. A biochemist, of all people, named Rashad Khalifa is using computer analysis, and he makes this absolutely startling claim. He says he's found a super complex mathematical code, like woven into the very fabric of the Quran. And, this is a code that people are still arguing about today. So what is this code exactly? Well, at its core, it's all about one single powerful number, 19. Let's break down why its supporters think this number is the key to, well, everything. It's called Code 19. And the main idea, the big premise, is that the number 19 is like a divine watermark. It's this hidden mathematical key that's supposed to prove the text is from God and that it's been perfectly preserved with no human changes for centuries. And the whole thing, the entire theory, really hangs on this one single verse from the Quran. It's in the 74th chapter, and it just says, "Over it are 19." Now, Rashad Khalifa, who came up with this, he didn't see that as just a simple statement. No, he saw it as a massive clue, pointing to this grand hidden code. Okay, so mathematically speaking, 19 is a prime number, right? You can only divide it by itself and 1. For the people who believe in this code, that's a huge deal. It's not just a coincidence. They look at its unique properties and how it keeps popping up and see it as a clear sign of an intentional, totally non-random, divine design. Okay, so how does this actually show up in the text? Well, the proponents, they point to what they call a whole cascade of evidence. They say it's woven all through the Quran, you have to know where to look. The first big one, the example everyone talks about, is the Bismillah. That's the opening line of the Quran, in the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. And in the original Arabic, it has exactly 19 letters. Kind of a perfect starting point for the theory, right? From there, the theory just scales up to the whole structure of the book. I mean, the Quran has 114 chapters. That's 19 times 6. And then, using their specific way of counting, they say the text has 6,346 verses, which, you guessed it, is 19 times 334. So for people who believe in the code, these patterns were really starting to pile up. And it doesn't even stop with the structure. Nope. It goes all the way down to how many times certain keywords appear. For example, the name of God, Allah, is said to show up 2,698 times, which is a perfect multiple of 19. It's 19 times 142. And Rahman, which means most gracious, appears 57 times. That's 19 times 3. But wait, it gets even deeper. Believers started focusing on specific chapters, like the very first one, Al-Fatiha. They use these really complex methods like gematria, that's where every letter gets a number value, and they claim that when you add up the values of the letters and key phrases, the final sum is also, astonishingly, a multiple of 19. Okay, but this is where the story takes a really sharp turn. Because from the second this theory was proposed, Code 19 has faced some major, and I mean very serious, criticism from mainstream Islamic scholars and academics. And this gets us to the heart of it, right? The central conflict of this whole thing. Are we actually looking at a real divine miracle hidden in a text? Or are we just seeing the results of someone forcing the data to fit an idea they already had? And let me tell you, the critics do not hold back. They argue the evidence is shaky at best. They point to accusations of selective counting, leaving words out or putting words in just to make the math work. Some people even claim that historical spellings were changed to fit the pattern. In fact, a lot of the original claims have been totally debunked, with some scholars flat out calling the whole thing a hoax. So you've got this fundamental split. One side sees a perfect, flawless system, a divine signature. The other side, they see data manipulation, cherry picking, and basically the kind of numerical coincidences you could probably find in any really long book if you looked hard enough. So, where does all this leave us? I mean, what's the big takeaway from this whole clash between these amazing numerical claims and some very serious scholarly doubt? Well, in the end, it's interesting. Whether you look at COVID-19 and see a miracle or a total manipulation, the controversy itself has had this really powerful effect. It's actually pushed people, both believers and skeptics, to look at the Quranic text in a much closer, more analytical way. And that leaves us with one last, big question to think about. Is the real importance in the code itself? Or is it in what the search for a code like this tells us about our own human desire to find patterns, our quest for certainty, and what faith and proof really even mean?